Sports Gamer.
How's it going, sports gamers? Mike Strauss, Sports Gamers Online here, with some helpful tips on how to pull off the Dekes in NHL 21. Now, some of these Dekes range from the simple and obvious to the difficult to pull off even for the NHL veteran. But we're at least going to give you ideas on how to pull these moves off so you can go into practice and you can work on them before bringing them into a game yourself. Before we get started though, we publish new videos daily, so be sure to subscribe to Sports Gamers Online and hit that bell to be notified whenever a new video goes live. Now first off, you're going to notice that most of these Dekes are similar to that of NHL 20. So pulling them off, if you knew how to do them in NHL 20 or earlier, should be pretty straightforward for you. There are a couple changes, a couple new ones for NHL 21, but we're going to cover everything from NHL 20 to NHL 21, starting with the simplest thing you can do, and that's the Spin-O-Rama. The simplest move in the game, as I said, spinning requires just the push of one button to pull off. Simply tap left trigger or L2 on a PS4. Despite that being so simple though, you can find yourself scoring some nice goals if you try it hard enough, but with tweaks to the AI animation, the goaltenders are much more likely to follow you now if you try and pull it off against the AI. The next Deke is another one button Deke, and all you need to do for the stride Deke is simply tap left bumper or L1 while skating in any direction. Depending on which way you're moving, you're going to find your player either go to the left or go to the right. However, with NHL 21, there's now a newer version of the stride Deke that you can take advantage of when standing still. When staying in place, say after winning the puck on the faceoff or just picking up the puck in your own zone, and you want to get a quick burst around an oncoming defender or forechecker, all you have to do is hit left bumper, but at the same time move the left stick in the direction left or right that you want to go, and you'll do a little sidestep stride that starts your way up ice and does work wonders when trying to get around defenders. It's pretty simple to pull off, and you should have really no troubles trying to keep the puck unless your opponent is really good with the poke check. Otherwise, there's a good chance you can even draw a penalty with this. Continuing on with the easier Dekes to pull off, let's talk about the Windmill Deke. To pull this off, simply hit left bumper or L1 before flicking the right stick straight to the left or to the right, depending on which way you want to go. You'll see your player lift the stick over top to get around a defender. Again, it's another simple yet useful Deke that you'll find yourself trying to do multiple times in a game. Next is the jump Deke, which is one of those Dekes that's funny to see when it actually works, but rarely ever actually gets pulled off properly in a game. It's not the best, and it has a pretty low success rate overall, but again, it's still fun to do nonetheless. To jump Deke, simply hit LB or L1 on your controller and push up on your right stick. It's really that simple and can be most useful when you're going against a human goalie and you happen to have a penalty shot or a breakaway, and they have a tendency to go down as you'll just flick the puck right over top of them if you're coming in. The next Deke is another one-touch Deke, but it looks a lot better than most of the one-touch Dekes out there, and that's the skate kick. To pull off the skate kick, simply hit LB or L1 on your controller and pull the right stick straight down. There are different variations of the skate kick ranging from the through the legs kick to the side kick, and all can be done by moving the right stick in a different direction toward your skates, and depending on the angle you're coming in on and where your stick is when you decide to pull straight back. The next Deke involves nothing other than the right stick to pull off, which makes it useful in almost any situation. With toe drags, there are two specific types that you can pull off, the forehand and backhand, both of which require the same motion. All you need to do is move your right stick in a down semicircle motion. From your forehand, move it in a semicircle down and around, and vice versa for a backhand drag. It really is that simple. Forehand semicircle down, backhand semicircle down. Pretty straightforward, pretty fun stuff to pull off when it works right. Now if you enjoy pulling off the toe drag and want to take it up a notch, then the Datsyuk may be what you need. Now there are two different versions of the Deke. Both start the same way, but you finish them off slightly different. First, there's the Datsyuk flip. To do this, you start by doing a fake shot, which is done by clicking in the right stick. Then, while still holding down the right stick, pull it straight down. With the puck now in the drag position, hold and release right bumper or R1 on the PS4 to flip the puck. The best bet to do this is to hold it for a second or so before releasing, but you can try holding it for different lengths in order to get the best results for you. To perform the Datsyuk shot, you start it the same exact way, but instead of hitting right bumper R1, you push up on the right stick to shoot the puck. Now the shots and flips are going to be somewhat inaccurate, but when they work, you'll get a highlight reel goal that you'll love to show replays of over and over again. Next, let's move on to the one-handed dekes. Now in NHL 20, these dekes were pretty overpowered and really hard to stop, but in NHL 21, although you can score every now and then, they have become more difficult due to AI goalie improvements that see the netminders not really bite as much on the one-handed dekes. But that said, it's still a pretty easy move to pull off, and one that's a lot easier than you'd imagine. To pull off the one-handed dekes and tucks, all you need to do is put the puck fully on your forehand or backhand and tap both right bumper and left bumper or R1 and L1. For the best results with this move, especially when trying to score, you're going to likely want to come in at an angle, because if you try to go straight onto the net with this, you're going to push the puck wide. Again, however, it's not as much of a gimme goal as it was in NHL 20, so good luck when trying this out. Now we start to get in the more complicated dekes with NHL 21, starting with the between the legs pass and shot. If you want to try and get fancy on the ice, the between the legs moves are the likely ones for you. To put the puck between the legs, hit left bumper or L1 and then click in the right stick. If you're still holding left bumper, you can hit and release the right stick over and over to pull the puck in and out between your legs. While having the puck between your legs, you can just hit right trigger or R2 to pass the puck, or push up to attempt a shot. If you want them to be accurate, you have to aim them properly, and for the shot, at least come in at a proper angle. Aside from the between the legs shot and pass, there's also another version of the between the legs deke that's much flashier and looks dirty when you pull it off, and it's really quite easy to do. First, pull the right stick on your forehand to about the 6 or 7 o'clock position, or the 4 or 5 position depending on what handedness your skater is, and you do this in a quarter circle motion. With your stick in place, hit left bumper and just push straight up on the right stick. You don't want to rotate or move it to the opposite side, just move it straight up and you'll see your player pull the puck between his legs and then reach with his stick to grab it on the other end. Moving on to a more difficult deke to pull off, we're going to talk about the sweep deke. To do the sweep deke, you want to hold the puck on your backhand and then hit left bumper or L1. From there, you're going to want to push both sticks in towards each other and you'll see yourself attempt the move. Then immediately after seeing the animation start for the move, quickly move the right stick back to the outside to grab the puck and continue on. This is a move that's going to take quite a bit of work to master, much like some other moves coming up, but once you do, it'll quickly find itself in your repertoire on the ice and you won't look back having not done it before. Another more difficult deke to pull off in NHL 21 is behind the back. It's going to take some time to master, and it is, without question, one of the toughest dekes to pull off in full for most players. To do this deke, you'll first pull the right stick onto your forehand to about the 6 or 7 o'clock position, or the 4 or 5 o'clock position depending on your handedness. From there, you'll tap left bumper or L1 and push both sticks straight to the outside. Now the last step is where it gets the hardest, as you need to quickly push the right stick straight up in order to reach and grab for the puck. If you want the best chance to pull off the behind the back deke, you're going to need to make sure you're coming in with speed, as being too slow will see the puck escape your player quicker than you'll be able to actually reach for it. Next, we're going to take a step back real quick and talk about something pretty simple to do, and those are the various banks and chips that you can now do in NHL 21. Now, when along the boards, if you want to just chip the puck along the boards and get around the defenders trying to cut you off, all you have to do is hit left bumper and right trigger at the same time, and you'll see your player chip the puck off the boards and kind of make a move around where the defender would be to get by. Now you can do that along the boards, or you can make those moves in open ice, and depending on the angle and the direction of your left stick, you'll see your player chip the puck one way and move the body the other way in order to get around the defender. You can also push your body straight against the boards. While skating along the boards, simply tap left bumper and your player will automatically put his back to the boards to try and sneak around an oncoming hit. Now the bigger banking self-pass that you can do is the one off the net that Sidney Crosby made famous over the last few years, where you bounce the puck off the net and quickly change directions. To do this, as you're going behind the net, you're going to want to hold down L1 or left bumper, and as you get to the middle of the back of the net, quickly tap right trigger, and you'll see yourself bank the puck off the back of the net and quickly turn and try and go the other direction with it. It's great when you see a defender coming in the one way to try and hit you, and you want to make a quick turnaround to try and go back, keep possession of the puck, and set up the play in the offensive zone. Now it's time to get into the really fun dekes that are really difficult to pull off, starting with the Kucherov. Now last year, it wasn't necessarily a deke in the game in NHL 20, but you were able to do it by stringing together a bunch of animations. This year, it was actually put in the game as a deking mechanic, and is a great tactic to use against human goalies that like to bite a lot, but rarely, if ever, works against AI goalies, and it really only feels like luck when you actually pull it off. To pull off the Kucherov, which again is pretty difficult to get perfect, you're going to want quick fingers. So you're going to start by holding L1 or left bumper, and as you're coming in, you're going to push the left stick to your backhand to start a backhand stride deke. Once the stride deke animation begins, you're going to want to quickly move your right stick to the forehand position to watch your player just lose control of the puck. So no matter what, whether you're a righty or left-handed skater, you're going to want to do a backhanded stride deke and quickly push the right stick to the forehand to watch your player lose control of the puck accidentally on purpose and pull off the Kucherov in game. Now the last deke we're going to talk about today is the most popular one. It's the one everybody's been talking about for NHL 21 since the game released in October, and even earlier when the beta was released in the early fall. And that's the Lacrosse goal, the Michigan, the Svechnikov, whatever you want to call it, loop around goal where the puck stays on your stick. Now to do this, it's not that difficult to set up, but the timing is something that even the steadiest hands will have trouble getting right off the bat, and you're really going to have to work on it until you find a smooth motion. Now before even getting in on how to do it, I'm going to warn you, you're going to want a guy with a high deking ability, as even players with 92, 93, 94 deking will find time struggling it. And to be honest, you can pick a Mario Lemieux or Wayne Gretzky to take this in practice, and you're still going to find yourself struggling more often than not until you find that perfect rhythm. So just be ready to try it over and over and over again, as even many NHL series veterans like myself will still struggle depending on the situation or just trying to get it in practice. Again, setup for the move is pretty easy. You're going to want to push the right stick fully to its forehand and then hold down left bumper. From there, you'll want to click in the right stick in order to get the setup move of the heel to heel kind of skate position and to see your stick slowly go flatter. Now here is where the timing comes in. You're going to want to find a perfect timing to move while still holding that right stick. Move the right stick in a semicircle motion from your forehand to your backhand to start the lift. If you go too fast, the puck's just going to stay there and your stick's going to move. If you go too slow, you're not going to even move the stick properly. Rather, you're just going to put the stick right back on its backhand. So it's all about finding that perfect timing. And when you pull it off, even if you don't score on it, it's still going to look really nice. So again, take your time, move that stick slowly, but not too slowly. A good idea is to start as slow as you can and gradually increase the speed of the semicircle that you're moving the right stick in until you find that perfect motion, and then just repeat that over and over until you get a nice groove. But sports gamers, that's our guide on how to pull off the various dekes in NHL 21. If you think we missed something or there's something you need to know more about, let us know in the comment section below. And be sure to let us know as well what other types of tips and trick videos for NHL 21 you want to see us cover in the future. Don't forget to leave a like on this video if you liked what you saw, subscribe to Sports Gamers Online for more great sports gaming content, and as always, visit our website at sportsgamersonline.com.